Good morning. Let's take a look at yesterday. Porto eventually getting the goal. They got us the +1. If you went match odds, you'd have got a loss on the draw. Similar story with Bologna. If you'd have gone match odds with Bologna, you'll have had a loss on the draw. I did have a secondary play in this one, given what happened during the match, but I'm afraid, yet again, I didn't record it, which was a pity. So it was all about these red cards yesterday. Bologna 2-0 down. I did recommend to members not to panic because they were dominating the in-play stats and the momentum. Don't panic, top up. 2-0 down. They were done by a Celtic corner when Celtic were down to 10 men. We've got some idiot to thank for this not turning into a win. Another professional footballer in Paul's and Porto's match, missing a penalty. Yet again, the absolute It was a very difficult Europa League for me yesterday. I was expecting a goal from both Go Ahead Eagles and Lille, but they didn't come in sequence. Lille were really dominating coming to the end of this match. Really should have done a lot better than that. Elsewhere, not much else to report. To be honest, it was a difficult evening. The AI, spot on with the correct score. I'll do the occasional article for you for free. Imps against the Brewers yesterday and prevailed 2-1 in a closely contested tactical battle. So that was quite good. Over 2.5 goals, particularly attractive today. Lincoln's offensive efficiency, Burton's desperate need for points. They did make it 1-1 at one stage for Burton Albion. So well done to AI. I'll post a few more of these in matches that I like. And we'll see if it can continue its good run. Well, let's have a quick look at today's trading angles. And it really does look like a let's have a day off coupon. Belgian Jupiler League 2.6, the favourite, i.e. take the cues from the market, go in place. Derby West Brom 2.57, the favourite. St. Pauli Hamburger 2.75, the favourite. It just happens to be one of those days where the market makers are finding it incredibly difficult to pick a consistent or a winner, a confident winner. So let's go and have a look at Derby West Brom. So this match is fraught with danger. We've got a new West Brom manager. So we don't know how they're going to perform. We can't really look at their past form now, can we? Under this new manager. It's awful, by the way. As you can quite clearly see there. Only 2 wins since the 6th of December. Derby County 3 wins in 4 matches. Not very good at home, though. You can see that since the 22nd of November. Only the 1 win, a 1-0 against a then troubling Middlesbrough, having trouble scoring goals. A couple of 1-0 wins recently. They're going to have to rely on that defence, you'll suggest, and a second half goal. A lot of pressure. But Bobby Clark looks to be stepping up to the plate. He scored in 2 of the last 4 matches. Challenge table wise, again with a new manager, it's very difficult. No 10 consecutive away defeats for West Brom. No draw in 14 away matches. Derby have scored in the last 18 matches and the last 11 at home. So you can hopefully rely on a Derby goal this evening. 10th against 19th. So relegation troubles for West Brom. Derby are unbeaten, or only the 1 defeat against 11th and lower, unbeaten against 15th and lower. 1-1 suggests if West Brom score, Derby County might be able to get an equaliser, but we just simply don't know with this new manager. Rather like the Imps and the Brewers yesterday, it's title hopes against relegation threatened Auxerre. Auxerre have a poor 100% loss record against the top 2. And Paris Saint-Germain tend to win against relegation threatened, and they've got 7 wins in 8. Loss, draw, win, loss, win away for PSG. A lot more vulnerable away from home. They haven't put together a consecutive win away from home either recently. So they did look very impressive, though, against Sporting Lisbon, despite going 2-1 down midweek. Post-Champions League, relegation threatened side at home. Look a tad short at 1.29, but that does factor in, of course, the gulf in quality and the gulf in resources. French League 2. Any of the big boys out? I like Saint-Etienne, I like Stade, but they're not out at the moment. Let's have a quick look, see if there's any motivating factors for any of these sides this evening. Amiens, you can't even see them in the top 14, so that's not a good start. Relegation threatened Amiens. They're in the relegation playoff place, which if you're going to be in the relegation zone, that's where you'd like to be. Gives you a last shot. But with 18 points, a win today will take them out of that relegation zone, dependent on Bologna and Laval and Bastia. Amiens playing Laval. You can see the 2 of the bottom 3. So this, no wonder it's 2.6 the favourite. You would be targeting a late draw here. If there's a late draw, 1.25 or lower, it's a must win, isn't it? You've got to take points off your nearest rival. Amiens have to broaden the gap between themselves and Laval. Laval have to narrow the gap between themselves and Amiens. And Nancy and Clermont, well, mid-table mediocrity for both of these two. Well, with a win, Nancy, 28 points, within striking distance of Reims in the top 5. We don't have playoff places like we do in the other leagues where they go all the way down to, I think, 8th with 2 automatic promotions. So it's a tough league to get out of, a bit like German Bundesliga 2. I don't have a strong opinion with this one, but the market has Nancy as odds-on favourite. Bastia and Montpellier. Where are these two? Montpellier mid-table in 10th and Bastia rock bottom. So you'd be automatically thinking of taking this Bastia side on, but a win for them today takes them on to 17 points and within striking distance of Amiens, dependent on what Amiens do this evening. Bastia, if they to get out, they must be aiming at least for 3rd bottom to give them a chance for a relegation playoff rather than automatically going down. Montpellier, recent form for them, not very hot, is it? That's why it's 2.4 the favourite. Even when you're bottom of the league, they're not doing it, are they, at the moment? A couple of the defeats were 1-0 and they're having trouble scoring that second goal, Montpellier. So no wonder it's 2.4 the favourite. It's a tough old coupon. Nancy against Rodez. Nancy 14th place. Where are Rodez in 11th? Rodez on a bit of a draw sequence at present. Score drawing as well. So that could open up the doors if Nancy score first. But Nancy are the favourite today, despite being below them in the league. 2 wins against Amiens and against Clermont. So Clermont here and Amiens in the relegation zone. It's not the best form in the world. Not sure why they're odds-on favourites with this side unbeaten in 5, Rodez. Pau and Grenoble. Pau are in 8th. They're within striking distance. Getting to that magical 30-point barrier with a win today for Pau. They're at home. They've got home advantage. Grenoble are in 13th. They're looking behind their shoulders with Amiens within striking distance of them. 2 consecutive defeats for Grenoble against Red Star, which is 2nd in the league, and Bastia, bottom of the league. Very disappointing stuff for Grenoble. Lack of consistency. Pau, you'd be looking at the motivation factor here to get into that 30-point barrier. Give them a shot at a top 5 berth. St. Pauli and Hamburger. It's a local derby. It's a 2.75 the favourite match. Makes very, very little appeal as a trading vehicle at all. Probable relegation dogfight as well. Let's have a look at the league positions. It really is a good day to have off. St. Pauli are here, Hamburger are here. Hamburger won't be threatened by the relegation zone just yet. They've got a 4-point gap, but St. Pauli with a win today will move into that relegation playoff place with the Bundesliga's vice side, which they would far prefer, give themselves one last shot. So relegation 6-pointer, local derby, no thank you. Bundesliga 2, anything doing there this evening? It's a tough coupon, I must say. Looking forward to the weekend. Premier League et al. Arminia Bielefeld and Holstein Kiel. Holstein Kiel in 10th. Arminia in the relegation zone, 2.15 favourite. Darmstadt and Nuremberg. Darmstadt in 3rd place. So we could get a tune out of them today at evens at home. 34 points. Could go into the automatic playoff places with a win today. Nuremberg on 25. We go to 28. And this is even worse than French League 2 to get out of. Only 3 places available. So that's added, for me, an interest in Darmstadt, I think. That I will star for later on. Inter and Pisa. Well, this is an interesting one. We're coming post-Champions League for Inter Milan. We've got a Pisa side against 2nd and 3rd away from home with a 2-2 and a 3-2 loss away. So they pick up their game against the big boys. We could see some fun and games here today. Inter Milan 1.18 does suggest they're going to score 2 or 3 goals today. But watch out for Pisa. The value here for me, post-Champions League, with Pisa's threat of a 2-2 or 3-2, will be to lay Inter if they score first. They're already at 1.18. If they score first in the first half, nice and early, lay them. Just in the hope that Pisa turn up. It's either a famine or feast for Pisa. At home, it's clean sheets, 0-0s. Away, a whole raft of 2-2s. This is where the challenge table comes in very handy. You can quite clearly see 2-2 here against AC Milan, 3-2 against Napoli for Pisa away. Look at them at home, 0-0, 0-1, 1-0, 0-1, 0-0. So, yes, they've got that 2-2 habit away from home. Could be competitive today, but they are playing in Inter Milan, who, at their very best, will score between 2 and 5 goals, and highly unlikely to concede that second goal on form. So it's going to be an interesting one. Are you with the away form, which is the value, or are you looking at common sense? Probably a 3-0, 3-1, any other home score for Inter Milan today. Serie B, 2.3 the favourite, another difficult to call match. Have a look at the league standings. A bit like Darmstadt, see whether there's a huge incentive for any of these two. Calarese and Empoli, I can't see. Well, Empoli are in 9th. So, yes, just outside. And Calarese in 10th. Looking at the points, plenty of incentive for both of these two to get a win today. That will move Calarese to 29. More importantly, move Empoli to 30 points. Be within striking distance of a top 8 berth and a playoff place for the quarterfinals. So, yes, lay any late draw here. The Dutch Eredivisie, it's quite simple. What I tend to do on a Friday, back both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in an accumulator. It's comes up once or twice a season. When it does come off, ka-ching, it really does pay off nicely. Having a look at with these leagues' positions, can we get anything? Well, Camber are second at the moment. Let's have a look at the points. Camber in second on a really good win sequence, 1.37 home favourites. So, got a touch of the old banker material about that. Eindhoven, 13th place. De Graafschap in third. Just going to see if I can get the points tally. There we go. De Graafschap in third place on 37. a big gap to the top two. The top two are looking safe, aren't they? Den Haag and Cambuur looking safe. De Graafschap. The important thing for De Graafschap is the points tally between them and 9th place. It looks comfortable at the moment. RKC Waalwijk, well, they're in 9th place, so there we go. They'll be keen to take some points off De Graaf. Dordrecht and Den Bosch. Dordrecht in 14th and Den Bosch are in 8th. So they've got a few queuing up behind them for these promotion places, promotion playoff places for the Eredivisie. So Den Bosch, tough match for them today. The standout does look Cambuur, doesn't it? But are they incentivised? Because there's such a comfortable gap at the moment. Maastricht and Jong Utrecht, 16th against 11th. Roda and Os. Os are just above the bottom three, so they'll be slightly concerned. Reserve teams aren't eligible to be promoted, so that's interesting as well with Young PSV. Roda and Os, yeah, just above the relegation zone. Vitesse and Den Haag. You'd thought Vitesse Arnhem from the Eredivisie would have been a lot better than this, but they're in a whole heap of bother. Den Haag, all the way up the top, 1.81 away favourites. Could be a little bit of value. It's bottom against top. That would one I would keep an eye out for later on. Willemsvee against Venlo as well. Let's have a look. 7th place against 10th. For me, it's a goals league. The Eredivisie, quite clearly. Portugal, any of the big boys out? Not really. The Scottish Championship, I'd like to see Partick Thistle or St Johnstone, but no, just got Arbroath. Levante and Elche carries on the difficult league that we have, or difficult coupon we have this evening. Quick look at the challenge table for these two. Elche against Levante, or Levante at home, are not too shabby, are they? Oh, sorry, Elche are the away side there. So Levante at home are shabby. I was looking at this form here. No win yet for Levante at home. So are you automatically with Elche? Both teams have scored in all of Levante's matches against Real Sociedad and above. So if they score first today, but then we've got this Elche side who haven't got a win away from home. They do all their best work at home. You saw that 2-2 against Sevilla recently. So troubling. It's a difficult one to read. They've only scored 2 goals once, Elche, and that was against Sevilla away from home. So again, it's just not a very good coupon this evening. Vaduz against Will. We've got a 1.61 favourite. We can have a quick look at that before I go. But is this the... No, it's the Challenge League, so no thank you. So basic conclusion. Very difficult coupon this evening. Apart from your obvious Inter Milan look like bankers. Darmstadt, motivation to go into the automatic playoffs. Calresi and Empoli must take points off your nearest rival. Cambuur, free and clear in the top 2, you'd think. And Vitesse and Den Haag is bottom against top. Those would be my standout matches for trading this evening. New manager syndrome makes this one incredibly difficult to call as well. It might get the managerial bounce. PSG, well, can slip up. Relegation against promotion, against title contenders. But if they're not fatigued, they will do a similar number to Inter Milan. Have a great day today. Day off today. I'm working on the Football Trading Profits app, trying to get that up and running. It's a very difficult task. But if it can get it working, it's going to be wonderful having AI on your side as your football trading. Have a great day. Probably not going to be hearing from me members later on. I'll take a day off. See you and prepare for a busy weekend.